The moment you stop being everyone's emotional dumping ground, the moment you start protecting your own peace, the people who benefited most from your chaos will be the first to call you selfish. They'll say you've changed, that you've gotten cold. And here's the painful truth. They're right. You have changed. And that's the first sign you're finally winning. This isn't about being cruel or indifferent. It's about a deep psychological shift, a conscious choice to pull your energy back from people and situations that drain you. It's the moment you stop performing and finally start living. And while this is absolutely the path to freedom, it's a path that almost always begins with being misunderstood. Why it hurts, understanding the backlash. If you've ever felt that knot in your stomach after saying yes when you were screaming no on the inside, you know the feeling. It's the exhaustion that comes from chronic people-pleasing, the quiet resentment that builds when you feel more like a utility than a person. For years, maybe your whole life, you've been running on an unspoken rule: be available, be helpful, keep the peace at all costs. You were predictable. Your energy was a reliable resource for others to tap into whenever they needed a boost, a listening ear, or a place to dump their negativity. And then, one day, you stopped. You let a call go to voicemail. You said, "I can't right now," and you didn't offer a long, apologetic excuse. Suddenly, the whole system glitched. The people who were used to your constant availability were met with a void. And the painful truth is, their reaction, the anger, the guilt-tripping, the accusations, is rarely about you. It's about the disruption of a pattern they found comfortable. You've changed the rules of a game they didn't even realize they were playing, and their panic is just a reflection of their own dependence on the old you. The psychoanalyst Carl Jung had a name for this: projection. Often, the labels people throw at you are the very things they can't face in themselves. When they call you selfish for setting a boundary, what they might really mean is, your refusal to meet my needs is forcing me to confront my own issues. And I hate it. They're projecting their discomfort onto you, trying to guilt you back into the box they had you in because your silence forces them to deal with their own noise. Your withdrawal doesn't just change you, it exposes the truth about the relationships around you. The breaking point, the life of a people pleaser. Let's be honest about what life was like before. Remember that constant low-grade anxiety? The mental gymnastics of trying to anticipate everyone's needs? You were the fixer, the listener, the one who'd drop everything for a friend's crisis, even when your own world was quietly falling apart. You took responsibility for other people's moods, believing that if someone was unhappy, it was somehow your job to fix it. This wasn't just kindness. It was a survival strategy rooted in a deep fear that if you weren't useful, you wouldn't be valued. In Jungian terms, your persona, the social mask you wore for acceptance, had become your prison. Every time you said yes when you meant no, you leaked a little bit of your own life force, leaving you drained and hollowed out. You got so good at being what others needed that you forgot who you were when no one was asking for anything. Then came the turning point. It's rarely a single dramatic event. More often, it's a quiet, internal snap. It's the burnout that finally becomes heavier than the fear of disappointing someone. It's looking in the mirror one day and not recognizing the tired person staring back. It's the profound realization that in your quest to be everything to everyone, you have become nothing to yourself. So you take the first terrifying step. You let a text sit unread for an hour. You say, "No, I can't make it," and resist the urge to over-explain. You choose a night of silence over a draining social event. Each of these small acts feels like a rebellion. The guilt can be overwhelming at first because you're fighting against years of conditioning. But underneath it, there's a flicker of something new. Peace. It's the first breath of air after being underwater for way too long. This is the beginning of reclaiming your energy. This is you starting to become unavailable. If this story feels like your own, if you've felt that exhaustion and are just starting to find that peace, take a moment to subscribe. This channel is a space for that journey, the difficult, rewarding process of reclaiming yourself. We're in this together. A badge of honor. Now for the hard part, the backlash. The moment the world notices you've changed, you'll hear the words, "You're so selfish now. You've become cold and distant. You've changed, and your first instinct will be to retreat, to go back to your old ways, just to make the discomfort stop." But this is the moment you have to hold the line. Here's the reframe that will change everything. Those accusations aren't insults, they're milestones. They are the first real proof that you're succeeding. When someone who benefited from you having no boundaries complains about your new ones, it's a sign that the boundary is working. They aren't angry because you're a bad person. They are angry because the free emotional labor has ended. This is all part of what Jung called individuation, the journey of becoming your whole authentic self by shedding the social masks and expectations you've been conditioned to wear. This journey is almost always met with resistance from the outside world because a person who is whole and self-defined is no longer easily controlled. So when they call you selfish, translated in your mind, what they're really saying is, you are no longer serving the role I assigned to you. When they say you've become cold, hear it as, your energy is no longer available for my unregulated use. These painful words are your badge of honor. They are the price of admission for real freedom and self-respect. You will lose people on this path, but the ones you lose are the ones who only valued your utility, not your authenticity. The way forward, living in your truth. Living in this new way requires a new set of tools, not of action, but of mindset. First, you have to become your own source of validation. The urge to explain and justify your boundaries comes from the old belief that other people have to approve of them. They don't. A boundary is a statement of your reality, not a negotiation. You can simply say, "That doesn't work for me," and let the sentence end. Your silence is a powerful tool. It removes their power to dictate your emotional state. Second, learn to embrace solitude. Society often teaches us to fear being alone, but this period of withdrawal isn't a punishment, it's a space for healing and reconnecting with your own inner voice. When you turn off the external noise, you can finally hear what you need, what you want, and what your intuition has been trying to tell you all along. This is how you shift from being a reactor, constantly shaped by others, to a creator, intentionally shaping your own life from the inside out. Third, understand that the goal isn't to become a cold, unfeeling hermit. The goal is to become sovereign over your own energy. It's about transforming from a leaky bucket into a deep, calm well. You become selective. Your yes becomes more precious because it's authentic and freely given, not handed out from a place of obligation. You'll find that while you may have fewer relationships, the ones that remain are deeper and built on mutual respect, not on your self-abandonment. Real friends and partners will respect your boundaries. The ones who don't were never really on your side to begin with. The new beginning. The painful truth about becoming unavailable is that it's a profound act of self-love that the world will often see as selfish at first. The withdrawal, the silence, and the boundaries are a necessary rite of passage. It is the moment you stop asking for permission to take up space and simply decide that your peace is non-negotiable. The accusations will sting. Losing certain relationships will hurt. But this pain isn't a sign that you're failing, it's the sound of old chains breaking. It's the growing pains of becoming yourself. You aren't just becoming unavailable, you're becoming whole. You are trading the hollow validation of the crowd for the solid ground of self-respect. And from that place, a new life begins, one that is quieter, clearer, and finally, truly yours. The world may have lost a people pleaser, but you will have finally found yourself. Share this video with one person who needs to hear that protecting their peace isn't a weakness, but their greatest strength. In the comments below, I want you to share one boundary you are proud of setting recently. Let's fill this space with stories of reclaiming our power. Thank you for watching.